Hello, everybody, and welcome into episode 21 of Power Rangers Cyberstrike. So there is a reason as to why there wasn't an episode last week, and I won't go into a lot of detail, but there was a power outage on my street, and yeah, it didn't get fixed until like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. So that was the reason for that. So, pardon me. Yeah, as always, I'm going to give you a small recap, and then we will get into the session. I do apologize if I sound nasally or a bit stuffy. I have also had a cold since around about this time last week. So it's been a bit of a time. But yeah. Oh, there will also be something a little different as well when it comes to my reactive image. So, I mean, you'll see. But yeah, we'll unmute and we'll introduce everyone.
This just works, you know?
Hello, everybody.
Hey.
Hello.
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 Yes. Welcome in to episode 21 of Power Rangers Cyberstrike. I'm aware that Scott is AFK sorting out the dogs. That is fine.
Yes, he is letting the dogs out.
Yes. Take the dog out.
Take care of the puppers.
Take care of the puppy. Yes. So, first things first, allow me to introduce the cast. First and foremost, playing the Red Cyberstrike Ranger Marika Hammond, we have Chocolate Zombie.
See, here's the thing, Twitch. You didn't say it correctly. It's episode 281.
I'm too ill for this. Introducing the Yellow Cyberstrike Ranger Arrow, it is Cryptic Surgeon.
The voices won't stop!
It's just it's a running gag. Playing Nova, the Blue Cyberstrike Ranger, we have DeLuna 13.
As a spoiler for last week, now he's really getting huge.
Playing the Green Cyberstrike Ranger, we have Mr. Hardluck, aka Scott, who, as we have already said, is out attending to the puppos. Playing our resident Catman and Black Cyberstrike Ranger Dwayne, it is Rosso.
Now, are you sure we have the original Tokuhatsu footage for this fight?
Yes, I have the footage. All footage are belong to me. And finally, rounding out the team, playing the role of the Proto Ranger, it is the Proto Ranger Orchid, I should say. It is Dynamo Tom.
Hi.
Now,
Do I need to say more?
no,
Okay, sweet.
you just say hi.
Tom does some of our art for the show. Shill Tom.
Tom?
Most of it.
Shill Rosa.
Most of it, because Rosa does the other half.
Rosso does tokens and won't stop.
Ever.
Why would he?
Why should I? I can do
And-
practically every character.
He has
you could.
unlimited power!
I mean, if he
And-
wants to be bold enough, he could make tokens out the tokens.
Tokenception. Mother of God.
So yeah. On on the last episode of Power Rangers Cyberstrike, we started off in the hospital before it was rocked by a explosion where Scott, the Green Cyberstrike Ranger, was
back now.
Gotcha, everyone! Yay! We've already done the
Hi.
introductions.
I figured as much.
Was recuperating from his recent mission where he was experiencing a bout of grid exhaustion, which is actually quite commonly seen in a lot of Green Rangers due to its unpredictable nature within the grid.
Because we go hard all day, all night.
It is in this hospital that Scott woke up and was greeted with some familiar faces that he knew of and had not so much worked with, but been in the same same organization, which is the SPD Special Forces. A group known as the Wildcards. Edge Sight, Smoke, Edge Sight, Smoke, Blast, Blackout, and Comms. And as I said in that episode, yes, I made the Bad Batch in my game because 2 a.m. brain do what 2 a.m. brain things do. It was during this recuperation period that the hospital was rocked by an explosion, which turned out to be space pirates. And it seemed that their mission was to take Scott for whatever reason. There was no reason given. It was just that he was the target. We have to get him. During an escape attempt with the wildcards, Scott and the wildcards subsequently were captured and held captive outside of the hospital, where the other Rangers were then where the other Rangers arrived to then find the situation as it was. A battle later ensued with the monster known as Pluticorn leading the space pirates, where the Red Equation Ranger Orico fought alongside the Cyberstrike Rangers. It was an efficient and quick battle where all of the Rangers successfully defeated their opponents, which ended in the destruction of Pluticorn, only to have Pluticorn then be struck with a lightning bolt from somewhere unknown to grow to massive size. It was at this time that a group of who were civilians turned out to be changeling putties in disguise over at the area where they were being kept, where casualties were being kept safe until they could be transported to another medical facility. It is here, ladies and gentlemen, that we pick up our game. So, as I get add up, so take notes of stuff. Yeah. Yes, my reactive image is Zordon. I changed it because, again, Rozo did a thing.
Yeah, I did a thing. I'm
Is it-
not going to say sorry for it.
It's actually funny, but yes. So, as I said, the last time you were you encountered this, you ended off the episode as you summoned in the Cyberzords. And it is here where we will be picking straight up. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're starting off with a Zord battle. Wish us luck. As I play the music, I have another screen for this. Why am I doing it there? You can hear that?
Give it a moment to load in.
Yeah.
Here we go.
There we go.
For me.
So I need to...
Not yet for me, but I'm sure it'll be just a moment because I tend to be the last one to get it.
Yeah, I was again either I'm refreshing.
No, I got it. There we go.
Sorry, I'm not sure if me mentioning it is metagaming or not, but story points.
Yeah.
Yes. If you didn't, I was about to, actually.
You have 16.
I apologize if that is metagaming.
It's not. It happens at the start of every...
Technically, I'm the one that's supposed to actually mention it, so...
Okay, so... you summon it. I'm just going to roll his initiative. I've also updated it so that I've got a... There's like an overhead now, where if you highlight your token, you can just see what it is you need to roll. You click your token. So,
Do we have to be in like a specific mode or something, or?
No, if you click your token, you should be able to, like, just up in the top left corner, you should be able to see, like, this HUD that pops up.
Oh yeah, initiative, skills,
Weapons.
weapons, powers, info.
Oh, that's on just all the time for me.
Oh. It should only be when you're highlighting your token, but yeah, that's a thing that I've installed. Because it helps.
Neat.
It helps with streamlining a lot of stuff. Yes. So yeah, so you all did the call, and your Zords, you notice, as you said, Cyber Zords deploy. Your Zords all come streaming in. The black and green Cyber Zords at the bottom of the street, but in the sky because they are flying vehicles, zoom overhead of Polluticon and land just at the bottom of the street. The blue and yellow Cyber Zords land just up here, along with the red Cyber Zord. Now, again, for scale, ladies and gentlemen, the battle map is there as a visual. These are actually towering machines, with the green and black swords being the smallest of them because they are aerial assault crafts. As your Zords descend, alongside of it, landing just a little bit away from Polluticon, is the red Battlebug.
I have a feeling that you were gonna have used this as an excuse to use him.
Yeah. So normally Zord combat works. You do a roll and then it's like 1d20 rounds for it to get you, but I'm expediting it because I can. I'm a GM.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of a really cool transition from episode to episode. Oh.
Yeah, it's 3d2 normally for the call, and then it's 1d6 if we want to do the combination. 1d6 plus 1, sorry.
However,
All right, so
we will worry about Megazord another day because look at that. I will also pretense this now. I do Zord combat a little bit differently because I don't like the use your driving skill to do X thing. So once a ranger is in their Zord, they'll use it as if they are doing the attacks as they were roll against roll, if that makes sense. Because to me, that just makes more sense.
So, like our targeting then, or
Yeah, like the Zord itself. Unless you want to do it with the driving skill. Just it doesn't make sense to me.
But then does it use the Zords? Well, no, it wouldn't use the Zords driving skill because that's for autopilot. It would use ours.
Yeah, it uses yours. Which is why it never made sense to me.
right? Okay, I might have to go with driving then because that's higher than targeting. So,
No, you'll use the skill of the Zord, not your skills.
oh,
Like, you get what I mean? Like, your Zords all have attacks and stuff that you can use. Because if you don't succeed on like a drive thing like that, this is gonna be a really hard fight, is what I'm saying. Unless you want to try it with a drive skill, but honestly, I just don't get how that works.
okay, because it's like my Zord's driving skill is a D2, but my personal driving skill is a D4. So,
Right, yeah. Forget the driving skill. Once you are driving your Zord, you wouldn't suffer a snag anyway. And to do an attack, you would have to use the pilot's driving skill to make it successful. Like, do you understand? See, See, now
See, this is where this is confusing.
yeah. See, you see where this is confusing. Like, is that okay? Cool. You successfully did your drive attack. Does that mean you attack? Does that mean you successfully hit? It doesn't make sense.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, like
Yeah.
Okay. So, if you would like, I can. You can either choose to try and make it to try and get to your Zords, or we can do the expedite, and you can jump straight in.
I say expedite it. Like it's
I will
Like
cinematic it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So cinematically, you all jump into your Zords, which means take
Last
off.
thing we need is for one of us to, miss.
Yeah. However, Oracle doesn't, because the Battleborg
is him.
is him himself. So I would like you all to roll initiative on your Zords, please. Orchid, I would like you to roll initiative for yourself.
Will do.
I don't know why, but I just don't have any sound coming from those dice rolls, which is weird. It normally does.
Holy cow!
Oh, we're almost basically in order on this one.
Almost, yes. So. Okay.
21.
Awesome.
I also had a 21.
Yeah. One party patroller rolled a fumble, which is hilarious.
I rolled like crap.
Yeah. So.
He just punches himself in the head and just deletes himself.
Yeah.
Delete! Delete! Delete!
I had the thought of disabling the fog of war here because you're all giant. I think I might do that. Return token vision off.
So Twitch, you'll have to remind me. You gave each of our Zord a basic melee and a basic ranged, correct?
Yep, and then one special attack that I allowed you to come up with.
Alright. We had a custom. Those were attacks were based on we had to add like might and whatever ourselves, right? Or was that based on something else?
You mean the special attack that I allowed you to come up with?
No, the basic attacks.
Basic attack is might. Like your Zords will have a quote unquote melee and a ranged attack, so it's like it is as it would be.
Okay. I'm just trying to remember how I didn't set a value for might or targeting for the ranged attack, so I don't know if we were supposed to set a value for that.
Well, what is your? What did everyone else do?
I've got like a D6 brawn, D2 driving, that's it skill wise. Oh, and a D8 initiative.
That would. My skills
Alright, do you know
are
what?
D6.
Okay, we're going to go with the driving skill then in that case. So just choose what kind of attack you want to do, and then we'll do the driving. I'll simplify it even more.
We'll do it after the session then.
No, we'll do it
Yeah,
for this.
we'll
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have a conversation after the session. It's fine. Don't worry. So just whenever you want to make an attack, use your driving skill, and just then state which one you wish for it to be. Understand?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
cool. Awesome. Yeah.
Sucks
So
for me because I have a D2 in driving.
you don't roll at snag though.
Yeah,
You
Yeah, like
when
the-
when piloting a Zord, you do not roll your driving at a snag.
Okay.
So
Isn't that only advanced spectrum?
no.
That's just everything. Because
It's
honestly,
because you are one with your Zord.
No, that's the advanced spectrum.
It is
Zord
not. I
perk.
have no. It's you never roll at a snag when you are driving your Zord. I've asked in the Renegade Discord, and I've made it clear, the Zords do not roll when you are driving your Zord. You do not roll at a disadvantage.
Okay.
so Twitch, the only one we're waiting on in terms of initiative is Orko.
No, Oracle is technically no. Yeah, actually, he can if you want him to be.
I mean,
His Zord will basically autopilot, but
It's whatever his movements are translates to his Battleborg. So his initiative is technically the Battleborg's initiative.
yeah.
well, that's what I meant in general. Like, I didn't see Orko's name on the list at all.
Oh, you mean the Battleborg? Yeah, sorry, I didn't.
I was talking about.
Yeah, you were on about the Battleborg, not Oracle himself. He rolls a 25. Okay. Are we all sorted? Sorry for the delay on that one, folks.
Yes.
Zord combat, like I said, is just
First proper Zord combat, there are going to be technical
Hiccups.
issues.
We're learning.
yeah. That, and like I said, in the book, it's just not written well. All right, begin combat. So,
I was
first
gonna say, sorry, continue.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, the book doesn't have that. Only advanced spectrum doesn't suffer snag. But like I said, if the server, the Discord is saying no, everyone doesn't roll snags, that's fine. I'm just
It's-
going by what it's saying for the basic spectrum Zord rolls. That's why it doesn't matter. Just no snags. Make Zord combat easier, please.
Yeah. Like I have read that it's like a ranger does not suffer a snag when they're in the zone because that would
Twitch
be
of
dumb.
Eltar has spoken.
Yeah, like I said,
Yeah.
if you've ruled it that way, then yeah.
Okay, cool. So, the red Battleborg is going to. He has a movement of 30, and I believe a reach of. Find it. Where are you? There you are. A reach of 20 foot away from him, because he is a big boy. So he can hit someone so long as they are that far away. Which is the scale of Zord combat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He is now in range of Palutacon. So the red Battleborg, after being summoned, which hilariously kind of has like the same voice as Oracle, you all notice, as he jumps up and with like the deftness, because it's quite lightweight is the red Battleborg, with its deftness you see it, and again because it's technically on autopilot.
So is it like G Gundam, but he's not inside of it?
Yeah, more or less. That's how they do it. He's gonna roll. So that's kind of how they pilot it, but it's weird, but you know, that's just the way it is. He's gonna roll his driving.
He's just standing there kicking in nothing in midair, but his Battleborg's actually kicking the monster.
Oh boy.
So he rolled a 22 on that. So he now hit with weapons, martial strike. You see why I say this driving thing is confusing? Because now it's like, well, what does he get?
I would have said that like the driving just meant he hit.
Yeah, the driving means he hits. Whereas on autopilot, it's like that. So I'm just going to delete that one. Yep, okay. So yeah, he's going to use a martial attack. And the red Battleborg hits him for 3 blunt damage. Yeah, so you see the red Battleborg fighting as if it's almost Oracle fighting.
On the head.
Yep. And Poluticorn loses 3 health. To which Oracle says, he then yells over, "Bring Fiber Rangers, it is your move!" And we turn over to the Black Cyberstrike zone.
Oh, goody. Now I'm gonna go forward the full 65 feet of my aerial range.
Yep. The Black Cyber Zord is fasty.
There, I believe. Am I
Yep.
going to be in range? Let me check. Oh. Here's a cannon. Am I in range? Yep, I'm in range, so I'm gonna shooty. What skill am I rolling with this?
Roll your driving skill, please.
That's a 5.
No, roll your driving skill, not the Zords.
Oh, right. Okay, no, sorry. My bad.
Again, see how it's confusing? Oh, shit, that was a 10. No, that was a 10. Sorry, I clicked the wrong one. Okay, so yeah, that was a 10.
Does that hit or miss?
That is a miss, I'm afraid.
Okay, then bullets just go flying.
Yeah, so your Zord, you kick it into gear and like it goes from hovering and it starts barreling down the road or above the road, and you fire off your blasters and like they just kind of sail past Poluticorn.
Yeah, the recoil's a bit much. It's like, ah!
So it kind of just sails past Poluticorn as Poluticorn is like kind of locked in the middle of this battle with the red Battleborg. The red Battleborg as well was like, you again notice that the red Battleborg like dodged out of the way to allow the laser fire to almost hit Poluticorn right before it it got back up and was defending itself again. It is now the red Cyberstrike Zord's turn.
Alright. Marika's probably driven, like, vehicles or tanks or whatever, being a captain in the military.
Yep.
So she's just going to just kind of punch her foot down on the accelerator, and our good old red Cyberstrike Zord with the little T-Rex face.
It's only got T-Rex face when it's in space mode.
Yeah.
Right now you're in land mode.
Yeah, it's gonna go ahead and I have a speed of 40, so it's a fast little tank, and it's going to just barrel straight on forward and stop here, and then I'm gonna just basic laser blaster attack to
Ludicom.
Poluticorn boy.
Yeah, sure. What's the range on your?
Don't remember what you
On your-
gave us.
Laser blast?
I mean, I'm 50 feet away, so I'm pretty sure it's within enough range.
What is the standard? Is it 2 in the book? Yeah, I thought you all had done this at a point.
That we posted the things, but it never actually had the range on them.
Yeah.
Wait, I just remembered something, and I apologize if I'm interrupting it, but
Range weapon attack reach 50 to 120.
Yeah.
That's in the baseline sword statistics. Hello.
are we taking size class into consideration?
Yes, we are actually. It's another thing that I need to back up. Yeah, so you're. Just copy paste
So
this.
Poluticorn is what size?
One moment, let me just paste this to zombie so I can. If you put this zombie for your melee and your. Right.
Okay.
Let me get my sizes up. Poluticorn is gigantic. And if you are going against the red Cyberstrike Zords, the red Cyberstrike Zord is extended 2.
So Marika would get up 1 shift to her attack then.
No, he wouldn't. It's neutral.
Oh shoot! So I'm it's a little first time using the chart.
Yeah, I got the chart up on my side. It's fine.
Okay.
It's 1. Yeah. So you get. Yeah, it's neutral damage. So it's just that. So you are within range. Just roll your driving skill.
Just finishing up copying that in there.
Yeah. For reference, the Cyber Zords have the baseline Zord stats statistics from the book, and then they grow as the Rangers grow. The only thing I allowed them to do was to create a special attack of their own, which fell in line with the style of the Zord they had.
So it's just a standard roll, right?
Yep, your driving skill, Marika's driving skill.
Yep. Oh,
Well,
another fumble plus crit.
yep.
So that's a normal failure. I think we ruled last time.
Yeah, it is. I actually asked about it in the Discord. It's you miss, but you look cool while doing it.
Yeah.
That's 100% how they said you should rule it. So, unfortunately, yes, it's your cannon blast. So, as your tank roll the red cyber tank, it rolls down the thing and stops in the plaza, and the top of the cannon kind of just angles towards Poluticorn, and once again, this giant red blast of energy shoots out of the barrel and just flies over Poluticorn. It just doesn't hit home at all, unfortunately.
Oh, that's all I can do.
Yeah, that's cool. It is now the turn of the yellow Cyberstrike Zord.
All right. Well, anyway. Suppose I'll move here. And here. So anyway, I started blasting.
Yep.
So I just roll a driving check.
Yeah, it's your driving skill, Arrow's driving skill.
Alright.
How big is your... Is the yellow...
Extended 2.
Extended 2? No, alright, cool, you... No, that's still just neutral damage. Take your shot.
Ah, 9!
Unfortunately, you do not hit. Yeah, so again, your Zords just... You fire again, but it just... It impacts, but Pluticon just kind of shoves it off. Kind of just yelling at the top of his voice. As that is happening, we zoom down in to this little area down here. And it is the turn of this fellow right here.
That,
So the
not gonna lie,
Yeah, go ahead.
I was like, not gonna lie, that art for the changeling putties is so fucking cool.
This is custom tokens I got. I made a token stamp because the party patroller, they didn't have a changeling token. It was just party patroller changeling in words. I was like, that's a bit dumb. So yeah, so this party patroller is going to make his way over to this fellow, and he's just going to hit this guy. Oh. The civilian itself, he actually manages to get out of the way, does the civilian. And he's going to take one step back because he's trying to get away. Yeah, this is not like, I know it says security personnel, it's not. It's just a placeholder token that I put there. Orchid, you can hear the screams of like the doctors and the other aid personnel in this direction as this is going on, and they're trying to get away. It is now the turn of the blue Cyberstrike Zone as we zoom back out.
Alright, he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Keep in mind, guys, you're technically colliding with Cryptic Zord there. Your token isn't the area, it's the box around your token.
Sorry.
It'll buff out.
Well, we'll say that like that.
Don't worry, Captain. We'll buff out those stretches.
There.
And we'll
he's
also
not-
allow
he's
you
not
to
flying enough.
like the entirety of the map is yours to play with, because again, you are towering over this area. The battle map is not to scale; it's just there for visual reference.
I'm a dual range weapon. So I roll that driving first.
You just roll your driving skill. Nova's driving skill. Correct.
Hell yeah.
Unicorn. Unfortunately, it still does not hit.
Damn it. Crit for nothing.
Yep.
But, beautiful thing is I have extra attack. So I can do it again.
Yeah, you can actually.
That
Yeah.
doesn't apply.
I was
That
about to
doesn't apply
say.
to swords.
I was about to say, does extra attack apply to Zords?
Oh no. It doesn't. No, it doesn't apply to Zords. Sorry.
No, well, I actually have extra attack as the Zord ability.
Is that a Zord ability or is that your Megaform trait?
Oh, it's a Megaform trait. Damn it.
Is
Well,
there
no,
a Zord
this-
feature? It is a Zord feature.
Is it a Zord feature? Because this is why I needed you to put them in the correct places on your sheet. So
Yeah, like that's. I think that's actually why I put extra attack in that one.
yeah, but is it a Megaform trait or is it a feature?
There should be noted this is a Zord feature, does not carry over to the Megaform.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Again, this is why you need to put it in the correct place on your sheet. Okay, so you can you can make an extra attack because on your character sheet it's in the Megaform trait.
Yeah, because you moved it over there.
I didn't move it there.
Well, I'll fix that later.
We'll fix it in post.
Just edit it out.
Anyway, I will roll again.
That does not hit. Yep, no, I think that's all you can do.
Mm-hmm.
It is now the turn of another buddy patroller. It's this guy's turn. And he's going to start making his way towards the civilians. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, just enough. He is going to his attack. That hits the civilian, unfortunately, and it's a crit. So, yeah. That does twice the damage. This civilian, this aid worker gets knocked down. And they're not dead. They are simply knocked out. So we're going to put a... No, that's impaired. Defeated. We'll put defeated there. Yeah. So they are down. It is now the turn of the green Cyberstrike zone.
Oh wow, I get to play.
Yay!
How do I rotate my icon? My token, rather.
Click the
It
token.
would be Shift plus like WASD.
Ah, got it. Cool.
Yeah, because I had to quickly Google that as well.
Does it make a difference on like the box?
Oh, unlike Aero and Nova, me and Scott, our boxes fit around our picture, so
Yeah. That's fair.
My movement is 45.
is that your aerial or your ground?
Aerial. I mean, you know, my thing flies. It doesn't move on the ground. It might scrape up the road a bunch and scrape up the underside, but I don't think it would go very far.
You would have the same aerial movement as Dwayne.
I have the Zord feature that makes me go plus 20, so he would be 45, I'd be 65.
All right, so yeah. So
Kitty has zoomies.
Yeah.
So
You
let
move
me measure
45.
again. So I'm gonna end up right there.
Yep.
Right there. So. Or there? No, it says attempted token movement collides with at least one wall.
Oh, sorry, one sec. I'll move it. I have that power. Sorry.
Okay.
It's because I had to set up the fog of war stuff, and the vehicles technically are walls.
Gotcha. Let's see. My range for my... Oh, good. He is in range. Can I shoot through the space occupied by the Battleborg?
I'm gonna say yes, because the Battleborg, again, I'm gonna say you
Is
are
he on the ground?
Yeah, he's on the ground, and you are above him.
Okay. So I will attack with my laser cannon, and you said that is driving?
Yes, so use Scott's driving.
Okay. And thanks to enhance attack, which is my feature, I get a +1 upshift.
Cool.
$13.
Does not hit.
Well, I guess that's my turn.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. It is
The
now.
laser blast goes whizzing over the Battleborg's head and under Poluticorn's arm.
It does not make connection with Poluticorn. It is now the turn of this Putty Patroller Changeling, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's trying to make his way across the street to the other civilian. I said the civilians, to these security personnel over here.
I hope he looks both ways before crossing.
That they're evil.
Then they deserve whatever happens to them.
It is now the turn of Poluticorn. Poluticorn is... He's gigantic, so he gets... I know he's got a little bit more reach than you guys. Keep on grown. Yeah, up to 40. Yeah. Okay. 20 feet. That one. Yeah, so he's got, I think, if I'm correct, he's got 25 feet of range for melee combat. That would be his, like, but yeah, he's well within his range to hit the Battleborg. Not you, though. Oh, actually, he might not be. Yeah, no, I think he needs to move at least forward one, which is fine. He has... Yeah. It's really annoying that it doesn't... It just says reach next to this. It doesn't give me a number, so I'm like, oh, reach what?
It's basic reach, which is
Yeah.
inch size.
Yeah, so it'd be 20 to 25 foot. Must be.
Yeah.
New art for the GM.
Yep.
It was given to me. Okay, cool. Was I doing? Yeah, okay, yeah. So he's gonna make his way towards the red Battleborg. I've got numbers flashing through my head now. I don't do well with numbers, people watching, and it confuses me sometimes. So he is going to make an unarmed melee combat swing at the Battleborg. It's a 15. red Cyberstrike mode. He doesn't. Bluecon runs forward, punches the red battlebug in the chest. The red battlebug just kind of catches it and looks looks Bluecon dead in the eye before swatting the hand away and then taking another defensive stance. Was not meant to be. Yeah, and that is Poluticorn's turn. Okay, you're up. As we zoom in.
If I want to climb one of these security trucks, is that just counting as difficult terrain?
Yeah.
Then I won't be able to move my token onto it, but
I
can
can
you
do
just
it for you.
place me on here? Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to do that.
So I'm gonna sprint down there, hearing the cries.
So you want to go here, is it?
Yep. Standing on top of the truck. Let me just do my maneuverability while I'm at it. Sweet. I get an extra 4. Don't worry about it being a spectacular fail. It's just for my evasion. So now that I'm on there, gun in hand, I target the one closest to the person alive and the one closest to me next to the down person.
Okay, cool. Yep, take a shot.
Okay, now this is going to be a lot of dice. I preference this
Go
because
ahead.
I'm within 30 feet of them.
Yep, I know. The power of the pink spectrum.
Oh shit, is Sharpshooter's Edge coming into effect?
Well, sharpshooter just gives me upshift 2.
Yeah.
So I will be upshift 2.
The power
And then
of
it
pink
is the same
compels you.
attack roll for both of them.
Go ahead. Woo boy. And that's for both, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, that's, how much damage is that?
2 energy damage to each of them.
Okay, so you run from where your position like that, and you kind of jump and flip on top of the armored transport vehicle. And as you land, you take your proto sniper in hand, or the proto glaive in sniper mode in hand, and you fire 2 really quick shots in succession at these party patrollers. They're a bit bigger than what you know. One of them's got like a head on his shoulder. The other one's got he's got one side of his face, and on the back of his head there's another face. They look like big jumbled things of clay. And yeah, you shoot them, and they both just what was the one? They both just get annihilated. As that happens,
Stay calm, we hear the help.
I just line up the shot on the next one, but that's the end of my turn.
yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So those 2 are down, and as that happens, like the guy here looks up, and he immediately just starts to run for cover as you go about what you're doing.
Yes.
And you said that was your turn?
Yep, that's nothing else I can do. I hopefully have secured enough space for the one last standing person to get the fuck out who's in immediate danger.
Now, this guy on the back here is gonna 3, 5, 6. He can't get you because you're a bit high up, but he's not looking at the civilian. He's ignoring, like the pipe patroller is ignoring the civilian. He's trying to get to you, which is
Good.
all he can do at the moment. So, yeah. Not much else he can do right now. Yeah, no, you can't do anything. And that's pretty much his turn. Well done, buddy. It is now back to the turn of the red Battleborg. And remember, guys, all round, every turn is 6 seconds. So technically, only 6, 1, 2. Well, only about a minute and a bit has passed. So all of that happened within a minute. If anyone needed that. Once more, the Battleborg is going to. Oracle is going to do his thing. Why won't it work? Come on. Come on.
Because it hates you.
Yeah. No, you don't roll with snag. Game. No, sorry, let me redo that one. Doesn't hit. Unfortunately, the red Battleborg isn't successful this time round. And you see the Battleborg again take a hit or like try to kick Poluticorn, but this time Poluticorn's able to defend and just blocks it. You also notice Poluticorn hasn't been talking much since he's grown to full size. It's almost like he's got a bit more animalistic. You're not quite sure why. But yeah. So yeah. That's... Well, no, he can attack... Well, no, yeah, he can attack again. He didn't move. So... We're gonna... We'll get the old... driving skill to go there. Normal. That's a 14. Unfortunately for Oracle, that does not hit. Again, the red Battleborg tries to take out Poluticorn, but it doesn't. And Poluticorn again swipes it away. And that is the end of the turn for the red Battleborg. It is now your turn. Black Cyberstrike, Zord, Wayne.
Right, so I'm going to zoom me forward. Give me a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I'm stuck in a wall. Switch to move me for... My 65 would put me between, like, the Battleborg and the red Cyberstrike Zord.
Yeah, I'll allow it because you're above them.
Right, now, question for this. What was it? Do we get, like, free actions with this? In Zord combat or not?
I would say yeah, because it's just like... It's combat, so you get a free action.
Can I use the free actions like we do in normal combat to kind of give me an extra aim, as it were, to steady my weapons?
Ah.
Doesn't that only apply when you're not in Zords? I mean,
this is why I'm
house
asking.
ruling. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would apply when you're not in Zords.
If not, that's fine. I'm just asking. If so, I'll just roll.
No, you can't. Yeah, no, you can't. Unfortunately. So,
Well, I'm still at range, so it's going to be shooty bang bang.
yeah, sure. Roll driving. $17.
And it's a
Correct.
crit. Oh, do I hit?
Uno momento. W. If it meets it, it beats it.
Oh! And we said that crits are double damage, right?
Yep.
That
is
is
correct.
6 points of damage.
Yep. So again,
Because
yeah, go ahead.
no, I was going to say the 5th level upgrade that I put to my Zord put an extra bit of damage into my laser cannons. So I'm doing 3 damage around. If I hit, that's double it, which means 6.
Yep. So, you are extended, correct?
Yes.
Now, Rosso. Now that's a lot of damage!
Yeah, you're extended. No, it's still neutral damage. Yep, still neutral damage, I'm afraid. But it's still 6 points of damage. So so again, Dwayne, you come barreling overhead. And this time you zoom over the top. You're almost doing like a strafing run. And your Zord, the cannons in the front of your Zord fire, and it hits Poluticorn directly. Causing 6 points of damage. What's it? 1, 2, 6. That was good. He's looking a bit worse for wear, actually. He's like, oh, like, he yells out, like he moves back. Like he's panting heavily. He's like, is that your turn?
Yeah, that's pretty much about it at the moment. I don't really have anything else I can think of. Yeah, that's it.
Cool. Marika, it is now the turn of the red Cyberstrike Zord.
I have a stupid idea.
Okay.
I can like speak over the comms as a free action, right?
I will allow that as a thing.
Yeah. Over the comms, Dwayne, you'll just hear Marika say, "Good shot, Black. Now it's my turn." And I didn't have the over the comms. She's just gonna look at Dwayne. She's just gonna come over to Dwayne's radio and just be like, "Good shot. Now it's my turn." And she's going to drive straight forward. And basically, what I want to do is I want to turn the I want to be driving parallel to him, but I want to turn my cannon so that the barrel is sticking out, and I just want to fucking clothesline him with the cannon barrel.
Yeah, I'll allow it. Make a driving make your driving check.
All right. So for the sake of this, my driving skill for the Zord and me are both the same, so I'm just gonna roll the Zords just for the sake of having everything there.
Okay.
Boom, baby!
That's a 19 hit.
Yes, 19 does in fact hit.
So that's 2 blunt damage basically, just whack straight across his chest.
Yeah.
This is Rangers. Clap, clap,
So-
clap, clap, clap.
After the Black Cyberstrike Zord hit with its laser cannons, everyone sees Marika's tank Zord start barreling across and does like a full 360 swing around as the barrel just hits Poluticorn right in the gut. causing him again to be a little bit more disgruntled and disorientated. You are extremely close to him right now, I will say.
That's fine. And that's pretty much. Actually, hold on. How much movement was that? Maybe I might be able to move a little bit more. Because I was basically right next to doing so. Oh yeah, I can move. I'll be like right there, just like off center. And that's my turn.
I don't know why this is running so slowly, but it is Yellow's turn.
All right.
It is. My PC is having a day. What are you doing?
I'm gonna straight up melee attack this bitch.
Are you gonna ram him or?
Yep.
Cool. Once more, the yellow Cyberstrike Zord comes barreling down. If you would like to give me your driving skill check, please. That's a 21. Was that the Zord check or was that Arrow's driving skill?
It's the same skill. It's the same.
Okay.
It's the same roll.
Okay. Yep. That hits. So, how much damage do you deal?
I believe that is two blunt.
Yeah. Yeah. So after Gluicon gets hit with the barrel of the red cyber tank, the yellow cyber Zord comes hurtling past, and just kind of like sideswipes him. Yeah. Kind of like sideswipes Paluticorn, and now Paluticorn's just getting absolutely murked at this point. Is that your turn?
Yep.
It is now the turn of the blue Cyberstrike Zord.
Nova, just very simply, 1, 2, 3, 4. This again in range, and I'm gonna attack twice again.
Yeah, give me a driving skill check.
I fired, and then I missed.
I'm going to use it. Because that was a literal, natural, chaotic one, basically.
Snake eyes.
1 sec. I need to double check this.
That was a super crit.
Yeah, I think you may have just got the first auto fail of the game. Double check. Check.
Oh, buddy.
I'm nervous now.
No, sorry, nope, that's just a fumble.
Okay, thank God. Okay, I'm gonna re-roll then.
Yep, that.
So this is my first roll then. Right?
I needed to make sure. Yeah, this will be your first one. I needed to double check that one.
$13. I guess assuming that miss.
Yeah, that does not.
I fired, but I miss.
I fired again.
That does not hit. I'm sorry.
I missed both times.
I love you, man.
So,
Like, you know, the fact that I can actually make that reference and someone will get it makes me happy.
Scott, it is now your move.
Yay. I will move up again. And I will shoot again.
Yep, head.
And my driving skill is the same as my Zords driving skill. Which to say, garbage.
You have a
11.
D6. Not too bad.
Why is there a D6? My driving skill is a D2. With one upshift. That doesn't.
Your feature.
Skill is driving. Yeah, I don't know why it's rolling a D6 at all.
Just do a reroll, double check. Maybe it's just. Maybe Foundry's just being funky at the moment. There we go. That's better.
There we go. That was weird. Okay,
I'll take
15.
that one. 15 unfortunately does not. But you are you're only 2 off.
Cool. Well,
Yep. So again, the green Cyberstrike Zord barrels over, kind of like zooming overhead now, Orchid. Again, it takes a shot of Poluticorn, and it impacts, but it doesn't do much, if anything at all. We now circle round. It is the turn of the party patroller that is the furthest away from you, Orchid. Why is my Foundry being so weird?
Maybe there's a memory leak?
Yeah, maybe. I'm gonna have to double check after this, but my computer is running a little bit dodgy than it normally is. Yeah, so this guy is going to continue his trek across the road. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's like, he hasn't like taken interest in you at all. But that's about all he can do. It is now the turn of Poluticorn, and he is looking annoyed right now. And he's going to take a swipe at the tank, because that is where he is at the moment. However, I also need to double check something because you are right next to him. Yeah. So, he's going to use a move action. And he's going to use his... where is it? Powerful winds. So Poluticorn is going to start beating his wings, and each creature within within 20 feet radius of him must succeed on a difficulty 12 brawn skill test, or receive a point of damage and be knocked prone. Poluticorn then flies up to half of its flying speed away.
Ah, fuck.
So take a point of damage, yellow, and you are proned.
I'm going to do that with my Cyberstrike Zord because I got a D6 and Born.
Oh yeah, you will do it with the Zord. It is the Zord check on that. You were knocked prone?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, 9.
Yep. You are
For
knocked
a minute,
prone.
I thought it was going to be the 18, but then it rolled to the 4.
Alright. Is this everybody?
If you are in a 20-foot radius of it. So it is. Oh, actually no, Dwayne, you're fine. Wait, no, hang on. How do I measure this? Is it edge of? Yeah, it would be edge of, wouldn't it? Yeah. Sorry, no, Dwayne, you're not fine. I lied.
Oh, okay.
Nova's fine though.
Nova's fine. Marika.
I'm fine.
I don't know. Is it the center or the edge of the box? What would you guys prefer?
I'd say the center.
Like keeping in mind that
If
If
you're
I'm
going
with it-
by
it-
reach rules,
mean-
it should be edge.
I always default to D&D rules, which is usually like the edge of the token.
all right, then it is the edge, and it is by reach rules.
So am I affected or?
Yeah, you are.
Alright, so I have to roll regardless.
Am I affected?
No,
Wait, can Zords be prone?
it's a skill of his when he's large, so yes.
They can be prone, yes. It's even in the Megazord combat rules where if more than half of the combiner's HP goes to 0, the Megazord disassembles and all the Zords fall to the ground prone.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna say yes that you are. So.
So
I
I'm
w-
grounded, basically.
Yes.
Alright. Well, I'm fine.
The tank being a bit sturdier does not get knocked prone. And
Do I
then-
still take the do I still take the damage or no?
No, you don't. You only take it if you fail the test. And now for Mr. Org. Ooh, the battle boat goes down. And as the battle boat goes down, you hear just towards the back where Oracle has been. He actually shouts as well and goes down.
I know he wouldn't say this in canon, but like, oh fuck!
Yeah, no. Yeah, and then Pluticone is going to move half of his flying speed, which I haven't put on his character for some reason. I believe it's 40, 60 something. Yes, 60. So he gets to move 30 feet in a direction. He's going to try and... I think he's just going to... Oh, actually, no. He... The only way he can go is down here.
He's kind of cornered.
Yeah. So he's going to... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he's going to make his way down here. And he's in the middle of the... Yeah, he's in the middle of the road now. He's still looking worse for wear. But yeah, that's Pluticone. He still hasn't made an attack, so he's going to now. That was his movement. What he's going to do now is use his blasting horn ability. He's going to shoot it directly at the red Battleborg. So, skill, weapons, blasting horn. Ooh, 16. And he is... Oh, wait, no, he should get edge on that as well because the Battleborg was prone. Maybe. I'll just... Let me just re-roll that real quick. I forgot.
Hello?
Hello there.
We can hear you again.
Just Discord crashed on me for a hot second.
Oh. Whoops. Yeah, so... Even though he rolled with edge, it doesn't matter because it misses. as the red battle bug is able to just shift out of the way slightly. It gets his shoulder up and like kind of like rolls to the side to avoid the blast. And that is Poluticorn's turn. Orchid, you're up.
So I'm technically 10 foot away from this shapeshifter, right? Because I'm up.
Yes,
So I'm out of its range, correct?
correct.
Okay. So I see one of them is running off. I twist around and I do another pop shot at both of them, this time taking aim.
Taking aim as in a free action or taking aim as a skill?
Taking aim as a free action to get an upshift.
Okay. Is that all, or are you going to... Whoa, there it is. Jesus Christ.
Pew pew.
What the...
Glorious.
2 damage to each of them.
It's doubled though because it's a crit.
For that, they both get just eviscerated.
Yeah, once again, Orchid takes the aim. The first one hits this guy and he crumbles. He just crumbles instantly. Then the second one is hit and gets blown and knocked back into the building, and also just crumbles.
You know, like if you've ever heard the sound of like clay splattering against a wall, that's what I hear.
Kind of like how the ooze guys in the original film get.
Yeah, I was about to mention that actually.
Yeah. Good Lord, Orchid, what the hell?
Now imagine
That's a crit that time. That's a crit that time.
Imagine if he had more upshifts and got a critical success just automatically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Pink Spectrum is broken.
Well, no, that was because it wouldn't have been that high if I was within. I'd have to move away if that was the case. If I was within reach, that's why I need to check that. I haven't moved. Still have an attack I can make. So I swing around and take a shot at Political.
Yeah, I was about to say. Well, you haven't moved, so you can still shoot Poluticorn if you want.
I can. But okay, so shooting Poluticorn is a natural downshift 2, right? Because I'm common at shooting at gigantic.
Let me double again. Once again, let me double check this out.
It might be more than 2.
So you are common.
Yep.
And you are you are attacking. And you are fighting. You are attacking gigantic.
Upshift 2.
So you get an upshift 2.
No, I'm also
he is
using
a big target.
I'm also using an energy weapon which has a natural upshift 1 against grown targets. So that's upshift 3. I'm taking aim. That's upshift 4.
Let me just double check.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Let me just double check his weaknesses.
If he's immune to energy, he's immune to energy. But
he is
taking
not.
aim only for 1 attack, or no?
Taking aim. It's a free action. You get 1 free action per turn.
Yeah,
no, you have multiple free actions per turn based on your evasion stat. Not your evasion, your speed stat.
What's your speed stat?
Your free actions are determined by your speed stat minus 2. So, I have 6. I've used 1.
Fuck!
You all have multiple free actions that you can be using the stuff. Smile.
Okay, note that down.
So,
This is why I have only 2 free actions, because my speed is 4.
Yeah. So your first two is your movement and then your attack, and then everything else in your speed stat becomes free actions that you can trade for things like taking aim. You can actually trade them for extra movement if you're converting like all your stuff into movement.
Okay. Okay.
There's
cool.
lots of stuff you can do with it. But yeah, upshift 4. At the big boy over there.
Wait, what? Sorry for me to ask. What dice are you at the moment with your skill?
I have a DA in targeting.
So you're rolling, I think, 3d6. If you go with the 4 upshifts. Jesus Christ, that's going to be a lot.
22. And it's a crit.
Be happy I didn't use my encounter skill. Smile. So 4 damage.
1 sec. I need to double check.
Achoo!
Yeah, I'm getting the sound effects.
He just attacked on legs.
I don't have a Zord. Yeah. Smile.
I don't have a sword, but I
Okay.
don't need one.
If any hit
I'm
made against Polluticon that exceeds its toughness by more than 10 is considered a direct hit to its own, taking away its ability to use its top wins. Okay. It's not, so he's fine there. But it is a crit. It is 2 hits.
I just imagine the explosion just goes off in his face. Just poof.
Yeah, a big stream of like pink and silverish grey energy just streaks up towards Polluticon and just hits him in the face.
I just know it's in the eye. We're doing that one.
And
yeah, it's in the eye.
yeah, and he's now Christ, what can I give for that? Like blinded, I guess?
Yeah. Oh, no.
It just takes extra damage. If you want to give more, you can give more. But
Yeah, I mean, if you shoot his eye out, he's partially blinded, so he either has a downshift or a snag when he attacks.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, yeah, I'll say that. I'll say he's been like temporarily, quote unquote, impaired. Yeah, if that's your turn, Orchid, we now circle back round to the red battle bug.
for the end of my turn, for flavor, put the gun away. Because my priorities are different. My priorities are elsewhere now.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, so the battle bug now has to stand up. That's his movement action.
Is it half movement or full movement?
It's a full movement to get up from prone. That's the way we've been playing it.
I take it no range.
Why is that? Extra, I don't know why its extra attack is in Megaform trait, but it shouldn't be.
Eye laser.
You see the battle bug stand up, and then it kind of like crosses its hands in front of its chest, and then a big energy ball starts to form. As you hear Oracle just shout out and yell as the battle bug sends this large ball of like flaming energy towards Polluticon. Oh, if it meets it, it beats it. Polluticon gets hit with this flaming orb of this. It's called Focus Blast, by the way. So just imagine the move for Pokemon. It's what I was trying to describe. Yeah, it hits him, and I believe that's 3 energy damage. Pelukon gets hit with this blast and starts to spark, flail around a lot. And all of a sudden, you hear Oracle shout to all of you, "Rangers, everyone focus your fire. Let's take down this creature." As collectively, your Zords all start to power up, and a conjoined blast streams at Peluticorn, hitting him directly as he then falls to the ground and is destroyed.
Woo!
Combat is over, and you have officially defeated your first grown monster.
Ah!
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
That's the wrong
I-
franchise.
All around you,
I immediately jump down and start like doing emergency care to the guy on the floor that's been like knocked out.
That's
That's
fair.
my next task.
Yep, that's 100% fair. Instantly, you start to hear cheers and applause from all around you. As you hear just people shouting and applauding about everything that just happened. They've got some ambiance here. You just see so many people shouting and applauding. The music won't play. I'm trying to get the music to play, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry. Why won't you play? Please. Please play. This is annoying. This is really annoying. Let me just put up a different one. Actually, is it because I wonder if it's because I've got 2 instances of this open? I'll have to double check that. But yeah, you start to hear all the applause and everything. You see those who are injured being helped away. Orchid, you're doing that as well. You're all still morphed. Your Zords are all kind of like lined up along with the red battle bug. You hear distantly like more transport ships coming in. And then you notice like an official looking vehicle come over, and it is Commander Kruger and the rest of the delegates. You all disembark from your Zords. You're all still morphed.
I like to say, like, for flavor, like, Nova jumps out of the cockpit of his, lands on the ground with a superhero pose.
I mean, yeah, you can if you want to.
Like, I need to learn how. I need to get better at my aim with that thing.
I just shake my head. That's terrible for your knees.
They look cool, though.
Oracle comes running over to you. He himself still morphed. My Discord's going weird now. Well,
Hello.
We can hear you.
Yep.
Somebody talking?
welcome to... Don't do that to me. You heal. Yeah, Oracle comes running over to you. I'm getting major blips here. I don't understand what's going on at all. And he just says, now my voicemail won't work. Okay. Welcome to episode Scuff. He runs over and he expresses his joy. He's like, it was an honor to fight beside you, Cyberstrike Rangers.
The feeling is mutual, Orko. That is an impressive Zord you have there.
Ha. The Battleborgs are one of our team's greatest assets. Although I am envious, the Rangers of Earth hold a far greater fighting machine. Nevertheless, you did great work here today.
Not bad for our first time out, I guess.
Well, first time using the Zords in actual combat. Has Kruger come up to us yet? Uh-oh.
Twitch's voice is broken. Might have to restart your voice mod. So if you want to roleplay, guys, now's the time.
I was gonna say, this is probably a great opportunity for us to take a nice little quick.
Yeah, so
break.
I say take a break because we don't even know if they're gonna if he hears us right now.
Sounds like a good idea.
Okay, so we're going to take what, like a 10, 15-minute break, or?
Hopefully about that much. Yeah.
Yeah, let's assume 10.
In the meantime, hiya, chat. I'm your favorite Yellow Ranger, Cryptogen. How y'all doing?
We just had our first actual Zord battle, and that was fun.
It was hype. It was hype.
Yeah, there's definitely like an idea that I have. I don't know whether the idea that I have would be broken or not. Would probably be something I would have to say to Twitch, like probably after the stream or whatnot. But it's an idea for me to pitch.
Yeah, Zord combat was a little bit wonky, but I will blame that on very poor wording from the source book.
Yeah, that like when it comes to Zord combat, it's like they haven't really made it easy. Like the way that they wrote it, it was like, okay, here's all the Zord. Well, here's what you could do with the Zords, and then quickly, here's all the sword examples that you could have. And they don't really go too much into the rules about Zords. And they even then, when you get to the vehicle combat section in the combat section, and they get the Zords, it's just go back to page 139. Everything you need to know about Zord combat is in 139. And like that's not
Fuck
really
it is.
Yeah.
Listen, unless I am a very simple tiefling, I needs to know how to do shit.
Like it literally says, this is discussed under the Combiner Zord feature found on page 139. That is literally what it says about Megazord combat.
Now that's Megazord combat. What about Zord combat?
Oh, that's literally it. It goes vehicle explosions, Megazord combat. It doesn't even go individual Zords. It just goes from vehicle explosions to Megazord combat.
They really need to make a revised edition, and I would say if you've bought the PDF, to just credit it to your purchase.
Oh, like basically a free rule update. That I can totally go with.
Hello?
Hello!
Hey, we can hear you.
Hey! If I do this, my equation.
Yes, we hear you. We hear you, Aquatarian.
Annoying. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. I don't understand what happened. Yeah, alright, I'm back. I can hear everyone. Awesome.
Woo.
So yeah. Spool 5-10 minute break. No, I've decided how I'm gonna start ruling Zord combat from now. You're gonna use the Zord's driving skill. Like I don't like of everything in this system, the Zord combat is my least favorite. Like
It just seems like extra layers of complexity that it doesn't seem to need.
Yeah.
I mean, like if you want to deep dive into space stuff, they've now given you space stuff. That's what it kind of feels like for Zord combat.
It honestly just feels like it makes the most sense to use the Zords, to use the Zords driving skill because.
Are you eating your microphone? Holy shit!
Yeah, you're getting. That was bugging me.
You came in really.
I was saying it honestly makes sense to use the Zord's driving skill because what are you doing in a Zord other than driving it?
Yeah. Even though in the book it literally says use so-and-so's driving skill. What? This. It's like, no, that's dumb. Why are you rolling?
I was like, the Zord weapons actually have their own attack, and it makes sense to me just to roll them with this regular attack, like no, it was a snag. Just like you're attacking with the Zord, so roll with the attack, you know?
It literally says use the driver's statistic equal to the driver's driving skill plus any other modifier. It seems like I understand what they're trying to do. It's like, oh well, it's Zord combat, we gotta make it fun. I'm just like, well, when the monster grows, you are just using the monster stats, but he's bigger. So why not just do that for the Zords?
Yeah, which puts you at disadvantage unless you have invested into your driving skill beyond not getting a snag, which you've also said, which also in the book says that you do not suffer snags anyway. But
yeah, it's just it seems like it's a bit like that, and like I said, I was trying to find ways of simplifying it to the point of that it would make sense, but after this, I think going forward we're going to use the Zord driving skills, because otherwise you'd never hit the monster.
I did have an idea, but I don't know if that's for like after the session. But
yeah, you can do it after the session or type it in, because I'll give you like Pluto was threat level 10. His toughness and evasion was 17. Now, if I go to someone who's bigger, let's say who's a bigger
okay, I'm just going to say it now because I feel like I should say it now. The way that I would pitch it would be at third level, yes, you get the Zord, but you would have your D2 Zord driving and the specialization, and then every 3 levels, you would just get an extra level of driving for your Zord. And just be like that. So by the time you're level 18, you've got D12 in driving for your Zord stat.
So like a cantrip progression or monk die progression.
Basically,
my only issue with that is you would never miss. In fact, Pluticon is the highest rank threat level. Grown.
But by the time you're level 18, you're going up against endgame, like Dark Spectre.
Yeah, true. Dark Spectre does he have a grown? I don't think he does.
Well, like Dark Spectre,
Stats.
isn't Dark Spectre's just a giant?
Relative. Relative to everything else, I yes, but at the same time, no. Come on.
Dark Spectre has a toughness of 33.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
With a health of 30 as well.
Yeah,
Mhm.
okay, yeah, that's fair. Oh, generation.
We're gonna need a lot more Zords.
Yeah, okay, yeah, fair. I see your point there. Oh, and he's gigantic anyway.
Yeah, like I said.
Yeah, across the stars, they're a bit stronger overall. So. Pluticon may have not been the best choice for your first proper Zord battle, but again, I didn't want to make it too easy. But skill level relative, because technically your Zords are what? So I know for the next time now. But yeah, again, this is a conversation after session as well. But because
I mean,
again, like some of you guys have higher driving skills, whereas I know for a fact Hardluck's character does not focus on the driving skill.
Indeed.
Yeah. So the strong point of my suggestion is that it's equal for everyone, and it's basically their Zord stat or their Zord driving stat. So it's not going to affect their character driving stat.
Yeah, we'll go with the Zord driving stat from now on. I think is the best option.
So when we get to 6th level, which is the next level, we all basically get D4 in our Zord's driving stat. That will be it.
And this isn't us bashing it, by the way. It's just overly complicated for what it should be.
It's overly complicated for a reason that it really shouldn't have been.
There's people out because there's people who play the game, and I know the fact that they love the Zord combat system. I'm just like I don't.
It's like
Plus, also,
It's
if
like
you have a brawn stat for your Zord, you can still use the brawn stat.
Yeah. Well, that's
Like
because
I've
a
got
lot
a D6 in brawn, so
yeah, but that's for like as I think you had to succeed a brawn check, not get knocked prone and take. What were you going to say, Tom? Before we continue with the session,
it's like space combat. Just take from it what you want. For our game, our session, our rules.
Yeah.
If you want to run it different.
If I could sit down
yeah.
and talk face to face or in a call with one of the developers from Renegade, I'd be like, look, you either need to break this, you need to either make content videos, which is an idiot's guide to how to do this, or simplify what you have, because it's just not good.
At this point, we've just been kit bashing what works for us and our table, which, of course, is how you are supposed to play any game.
Yeah. We follow the rules pretty much to the T on everything other than the Zords at this point. With liberties taken. That is it. Is everyone here?
Yes.
Before
I am here.
Yes, before we continue on, I would just like to say, Wolfinators, thank you very much for the resubscription for 60 months, you madman. And Digimon King 123, thank you very much for the follow. Yeah, if that's back, we can continue. So, you've just finished your Zord battle, and you're at this site. You're surrounded by the civilians who are all cheering for you. Everything else. The delegates have made their way up to you. You can hear Commander Kruger ordering the forces that the Zybrian forces and the SPD forces that have just turned up to aid anyone who is injured and whatnot. You see the defeated members of the Zybrian forces that were unfortunately taken down in the battle being attended to. You also notice that the wildcards have been roused. Edge Sight, Smoke, and Blast are being brought over. You also notice just in the background, you see comms, Scott and Dwayne, on a gurney being checked out. And there's a guy flashing like a torch, like a flashlight in his eyes, checking. And you vaguely overhear him say, just like, I ever tell you a time I flew this really big car?
Concussion syndrome is a hell of a thing.
You sure did, buddy. You sure did.
And you kind of just like, you see Smoke just kind of like shake his head and everything, and then, you know, they all come over. That Kruger addresses you. Oracle goes to stand next to his, to the equation delegate, who gives him like the equation. He does the hand symbol and gives him a bow, and Oracle returns it. Commander Kruger then gives you all a salute.
Salute back.
Dwayne returns the salute.
Arrow will salute.
Just
Nova does a two-finger salute to him.
Just to let you know, like the roll call is pretty much kind of like how the Lightspeed Rangers do it. You know, when they just like feet together, the salute, and then come down.
Yep.
But then you got the SPD salute, which is the one across the chest.
Elbow the person next to you.
Yeah. So you get the SPD salute from Kruger. I assume Scott, Dwayne, you give the SPD salute back.
Yes.
Marika, you give the standard one. Arrow and Nova, it's up to you. You're not military.
Nova does the two-finger salute.
Same.
That is not flipping him off, by the way. It's just the casual sky. It's the sky. What I designate as the sky cowboy salute.
Yes.
Or space cowboy. Orchid, what do you do?
I'd be off helping people.
Oh yeah.
I'm not in this lineup of cheers and stuff. My priorities are people are down. I saw people go down. I'm helping people.
Kruger kind of like looks
providing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Providing medical attention, moving people, making sure no one's trapped.
Yeah.
There was just a giant fucking fight going on here.
Realize that I don't have your morphed icons up either in the thing. This episode has been brought to you by Scuff. When things just don't go right because your brain is set, you know what? Nah. Anyway, so again, you're all still in your ranger forms. You're all being applauded. Kruger, after a student, says that. Well done, Rangers.
Thank you, Commander.
As amazing as it sounds,
we saw, we kicked its ass.
As amazing as it is, as well, damage was kept to a minimum thanks to the efforts of the combined efforts of the armed forces. Repairs on the military the military medical facility will begin in earnest as well, and SPD will be helping out with this, with any and all action needed. Kruger says this mainly to the Zybrian admiral, who is joined by someone that you've never seen before. This, Scott, however, you would know, is the leader of Planet Zybria. It is the president of Planet Zybria, who has come to personally thank you, the Cyberstrike team, for your service. I cannot begin to express my gratitude to you, Rangers. These attacks have shaken our planet. I promised citizens and everyone here that we would be safe from Dark Spectre's attacks. However, it seems we have a traitor in our midst. At this point, the Admiral walks up to you, Scott, and says, I am truly sorry, my boy. I placed my faith in the General. It would seem that he has been leaking information off-planet and receiving information as thus. It would appear that this individual, and as he gestures back, you see the space pirate, Dwayne, that you chased off.
Oh, the one that ran away.
Yeah, the one that ran away has been apprehended and like giving you all like the dirtiest scowl. Shouting like, I told, like she's yelling just like, I told you everything. You said you'd cut me a deal. And she's being escorted into one of the armored transport vehicles.
Deals involve jail time, idiot.
Marika is smiling under her helmet.
I might want to listen in on those interrogation tapes then.
Kruger addresses you and says there'd be no need for that. From what we've been able to tell is that these space pirates were operating as a third party. Whoever
Of course they were.
That all we can know is that it was a higher up of Dark Spectre's forces, who we do not know, but they were funneling information to the pirates, and the pirates were funneling information towards the General.
They must have had a staging ground of some kind, though.
We will endeavor to find out, although we can confirm that it is not on planet Zybria, but it could be on a planet nearby. Or it could be coming in with any amount of merchant trade or transports. SPD will be looking into this, I can assure you.
Commander, I had a thought while this was going on.
Proceed.
We were facing changelings. Who's to say that that general was not one of those, or those this whole time, and the real general is actually out there somewhere?
That was something that crossed our minds. However, as we've said, the information that we have managed to receive from our base interrogations would confirm the worst. It also confirms as to why you were the target, Scott.
That would be very nice to know.
I have a feeling I know what this might be.
But not here. We will reconvene shortly after this has been cleaned up for a debrief. First, we must prioritize the safety of those injured here. Once again,
how's the Gamma, sir?
The Gamma was secured, and Professor Daxian will inform you of everything else ere long. I suggest you rest up. And it's at this point you hear Oracle he raises both hands into the air, and makes like that shinobi symbol with his hands, and just says, "Power down." He reverts to his civilian form, as it were.
I think he has the right idea, gents. Power down.
Power down.
Unmorphs.
Power down.
So yeah, you all unmorph. Orchid, you're still like, as you power down, like you're getting like double takes as if to say, "Oh, you're an alpha unit." What the? Like it's like, "Oh, you're a robot." Like what the?
Era will high five Orchid. Great job on the ground floor.
I kind of just look at the hand first, and then after like a moment, I like slowly high five.
All right.
No problem.
It's like we'll work on it moment. But yeah.
Damn it! You saw what I was actually about to say.
You all see the you see the wild cards about to make their way off, but then Kruger stops them and says to them, like, you four will need to attend this debriefing too. And then you just hear Blast go, oh, I'll go debrief.
Snicker, snicker.
And as they make their way back over to comms still delirious a little bit. Yeah, so what do you do in the interim before you head to debrief? Obviously, the area that you're currently in is being cleaned up, and there are people helping as and when they can.
How long to debrief, actually?
You weren't given a time, but you were told that Professor Daxion will give you the information ere long prior to debrief. So your options at the moment are either help out here, then see Professor Daxion, or just immediately go and see Professor Daxion.
I think Nova would help out anybody or helping people get to the medical staff, and then probably go. I don't know about you guys.
Dwayne would actually go to the wild cards, but I'll let everyone else do their thing first.
I guess
I
I'll
would
go
just
with
be
Dwayne.
helping when possible.
Yeah. So, Dwayne and Scott, you make your way over to the wild cards. Orchid, you're still helping the medical staff and everyone else around you as it is.
Arrow will also assist the medical staff because of his background as a community helper.
Yeah, it's fine. Marika and Nova, what are you doing?
Nova's helping out.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, same. Marika will just follow suit and
Okay, so
help where she can.
Okay, so you four are helping. You're getting thank yous from the people you help and everything like that. That's going on in the background. Dwayne and Scott, you make your way over to where the wild cards are.
Mm-hmm.
They're just discussing everything. They're just discussing amongst themselves currently, and they see you both walking over.
So, there's only 4 of you. Where's Blackout?
As you ask that, they all kind of get like a somber look.
Oh. That kind of situation, huh?
Smoke kind of picks up. Last mission. It was a setup. We believe whoever was funneling information now is what prompted the general to tell Kruger about it, and Kruger sent us.
I elbowed Dwayne in the side. You could have just asked me.
Comms pipes up. Oh, good.
I'll go on.
Comms pipes up. It ain't Litterbox's fault, Sticks. After all, not exactly like we've had a moment to breathe. By the way, who that?
We're in space. We never have a chance to breathe.
Yeah, Comms kind of like Comms himself is a Zybrian. So you two know each other quite well, Scott.
Okay.
You've worked with him once or twice. You've only ever known him as Comms. Like I said, the wildcards, they only go by their code names. And of course, they have a perchance for giving everyone else a code name or a nickname. That's why you were called Sticks, and Dwayne is called Littlebox. But it's said with all the love in the world. Just remind me a sec. How many?
That doesn't make it any less racist.
How many story points are you guys on?
16.
16?
As I said, yeah, that sounds right.
I'm on it. Might be using them shortly if this goes the way it does. Yeah. So Blast then pipes up. It's like he's just like, I still don't think he's gone. I've seen him survive more explosions than that. I would know. Paused a few. Edgesight then in response just says, yes, Blast, as much as you've already told us, but come on. We saw the damn building go up.
Well, you're also talking to another explosive expert here, so if I kind of knew the extent of the damage, I could probably give a guess or two.
They all look at each other, and then they kind of turn back to you and say, and Smoke goes, you and your team were sent recently to take out an outpost. Were you correct?
Oh, yeah, we got to kick Gerwok's ass there.
Like, Smoke nods. Well, we were sent out to take out a similar outpost. However, this one was not controlled by the Machine Empire. We were told that there was another general from Dark Spectre's forces operating in that area, and Kruger thought it best for us to try and sneak in and take him out, if we could. However, as we have said, it was a trap. What was waiting for us was an ambush of space pirates and, well, the same old clay brains. I believe the term is that everyone else uses. Of course, not an all accurate assumption of the putty patrollers. Cryptic, I can hear you typing, by the way.
Sorry.
I had one hug me on that last mission. Ugh.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, it was a big fat one, and it's like, it just hugged me. Like, what?
They kind of look at you they kind of look at you, and then but Smoke just goes, the scientific psychological aspects of that aside, I do have to wonder as to why the commander wants us in this deep.
Well, I mean, as you said, you were sent to take out that other outpost related to our mission. And who knows, it could be. If we're going after the general, I need your expertise.
That it wasn't an outpost, it was an ambush in an abandoned building. Comms then kind of like shoos away the medical examiner as he gets back up. He says, well, no use talking about it. I guess we'll head on over to the main building when we're ready. Suppose you two want to go catch up with your team after this. And he holds out his hand to you, Scott.
Shakes it.
It's good seeing you again, Styx.
Right back at you.
Blast kind of like gives you a massive bear hug, Dwayne. Yeah. Sorry.
I might be a ranger now, but even so, jeez.
Sorry.
Oh, one more thing. You might want to check out with the quartermaster. He's got some of those. What was it? Those energy crystal grenades. They go off with quite a bit of a boom.
You see, like, Blast kind of like smile, and he instantly just starts. He just kind of like grabs Smoke, who's the closest to him, and just said, "Okay, come on, egghead, we've got some shopping to do." as the other members of the Wildcard shake their head, give you like a goodbye, and then they make their way into their into an armored car quite close by. Yeah. So, as that happens, you're all now convened around you. The cleanup has been, like, all the innocents have basically been like that. The more severe ones now have been taken to everything else, and you've all been dismissed. You make your way back toward the main building, but you make your way towards the hangar area, where you see the Gamma, which again is just being attended to by everyone on the dock. But you also all of a sudden see someone just running over to you. I'm going to need you all to give me a group perception check, or alertness check even. Alertness perception. Also, that token HUD thing really did help streamlining the freaking battle a little bit. Okay, that's a crit. Yep. Yeah.
That is an 18.
Yeah. Yeah. You only needed to succeed a group check of 10 here. Yeah, all right,
12.
well, all of you succeeded, sir. So yeah, you recognize this individual. This is Professor Zell. You saw him the first time you were all on Zybria. He was the one of the main researchers. I was running over to you, and he's just like, Rangers, hello. It's good to see you again. Professor Daxian bid me meet you here. There has been a development whilst the engineering crew was servicing out the Gamma.
That could be either really good or really bad, yeah.
Well, at first we thought it was bad. You know what? It might be better if you just follow me. And he then goes over to the Gamma, and he just says, he goes up the landing ramp of the Gamma. You all following behind. And as you get on to into the Gamma itself, you get to the like the recreation area just off the side from the bridge, and you start to hear a strange warbling that you're all used to. And as you round, go
I was
ahead.
going to say, can I make either a perception or technology check to see what it is?
You can do a listening check.
Okay, that's a straightforward alertness check then, or would it be technology for me to?
It's not
know what it
it's
is?
It's not technological. This sound.
Okay.
I'm gonna do an alertness check as well.
Yeah, do an alertness check.
Oh, sure, why not?
All right, we'll do a group alertness check. Give me another group.
Solve
alertness.
20.
You don't need to get more than a 5 for this. Yeah, you all know that sound because you fight.
21.
Yeah, you know that. Yeah, you all know that sound because you fight them enough. That is the telltale sound of a putty.
It's the
What?
boy.
Are you fucking kidding me?
It's the boy.
What?
As you get into the recreational area, you see an extremely large putty patroller.
It's him!
Currently
Among Us.
Currently sitting next to Professor Daxian.
Noah puts his head in his face. You gotta be fucking kidding me.
The putty patroller is currently hooked up to a whole bunch of different nodes and stuff. With not just Daxian, but a couple of other researchers as well as some security guards who are looking utterly perplexed.
I get ready to draw my gun.
I don't. What is like the general expression of Big Pungus right now?
Happy. You
Frank
notice,
is just
you
gonna-
know, like from like you're taking it, like he's just kind of like sitting there. He's like a big child that's just like that, and like you can see like some of the other researchers asking him questions, and he's nodding, and you also see like various tools in front of Pungus.
Marika's gonna kind of yell out, well, I see our new friend has made himself at home.
How
He kind
how
of
You
the fuck did he
friend?
find us?
at this point, Professor Daxon goes, Rangers, it yes, it would
Say
appear...
it's not what it looks like. I dare you.
No, it's exactly what it looks like. I believe I should start here first. You all continue with the tests. And Professor
This
Daxon...
party is a friend?
Yes, Orchid, allow me to explain. See, on the last mission when you activated the teleporter, the range was actually a lot larger in area than your focused area. We ended up picking up not just this individual, but all of a sudden you hear a crash from one of the storage rooms.
Please tell me that's not Gewok. Please tell me that's not Gewok. Please tell me that's not Gewok.
And then all of a sudden you see like two guys stumble out with just like scrap and stuff like that. You notice some of it is like it's like quadrifighter parts, some of them are cog parts, other things that were just kept in that outpost that you were in. You ended up bringing along some things. These were stuck to the outside of the Gamma and in some of the engine ports. We believe whatever else was probably left floating in space. And also this individual. And as he kind of like the camera pans and like he points it and like the giant party kind of looks up and then just kind of waves and then goes back to playing with what looks like a Rubik's Cube.
How's he doing?
Is it a threat?
On the Rubik's Cube part,
Yeah.
he's kind of just like playing around with it, and it looks like he's solved two sides.
Oh,
The fact that
I suck at those, so
Still ready to draw gun.
Orchid,
Is
you
it a
can,
threat?
I really don't think so.
first we thought it was, but it started every time every time the security forces tried to apprehend and get rid of it, it was extremely resilient. Normally, the average party patroller, if you strike it hard enough and gain a big enough direct hit, it will go down. Our weapons have been... standard military weapons have been adapted so because of the recent incursions. However, this individual, well, seems far more resilient than any normal party patroller I have ever seen. And actually shows far more heightened intelligence. And strength, for that matter. As he says that, Daxon again looks around and you can see like one of the chairs has like got a big dent in it.
Oh, Dwayne's gonna cringe. I think my ribs are gonna crack again.
And then the party, you notice the party, who henceforth will be referred to as Pungus. He kind of points at, like, he kind of like, looks like that and keeps pointing at you, Dwayne. And the other researchers keep nodding their head like, yes, 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 and they're still like taking in the data and stuff. And it was just like, he seems harmless, but, well,
He hugged me.
what?
He hugged me.
Okay, we will add emotional range to the chart. But,
He also cried.
also adding that to the data chart.
He punched a putty I just started crying.
It's probably best to say for context, when we found him, he seemed that he was arguing with another smaller putty, and I've never known putties to have emotions, but he seemed upset at something, and
He was getting
literally
bullied,
just
is what was happening, Doc.
yeah, basically.
Ah, that is strange. I've never known the putties to have a hierarchy. Although the only data we really have are the ones that were from the witch Rita Repulsa, and we know that Rita Repulsa shares no love for Dark Spectre. Maybe these ones created by the forces of Dark Spectre have anomalies. Professor Daxian then starts going off and mumbling, and then he gets joined by some of the other researchers, and all of a sudden there's a lot of science technobabble being spoken around you guys. As
Dwayne's just gonna sit down like,
No one's gonna look over at Dwayne. Aw, you made a friend.
As you say that, you hear the scraping of a chair, and Punga's kind of like sits in front of like so much as kind of like he just kind of like slides into frame next to you, Dwayne. Like just kind of, again, just waves.
Dwayne's just gonna wave back. Hi.
Yeah, and then he kind of and then again, Punga's kind of just like he's just kind of sitting there doing nothing now. And Professor Zell goes over and says, Professor Daxian, as interesting as this development is, and as the scientific cautious aside, I believe that you should revert to the other business as well. Yes. Continue running the tests. Professor Zell, I leave you in charge. Rangers, with me to the bridge, please.
Oh, but we're witnessing the birth of a new Holovid sitcom.
I think right now that we have more important matters to deal with there, Scott.
Yeah. So as you get as you leave the bizarre scene of this rotund friend-shaped putty being given all sorts of like standard IQ tests, from what you can say, like from puzzles to pen and paper drawing, all that kind of stuff.
As soon as we all get into the hangar, no, is this gonna be? All right, so that thing is extremely creepy, isn't it?
I mean, I think it's a little cute.
Are you sure we should leave it then?
Here's my problem. What if this is all an elaborate act?
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
I assure you, Rangers, I do not believe it to be an act. I mean, I sat alone with the thing for an extended amount of time, and all he kept doing was waving at me. Until we gave him the puzzle cube. And
Anyway,
after that, he started doing it. Never mind, we have more important matters. Firstly, congratulations, Rangers. The first deployment of the Cyberzords was a success. That it was valuable data collected, also battling alongside one of the Battleborgs, allowed us to even compare data to combat efficiency with other Zords from other teams. And on that segueing, it is because of another Ranger team that I am here. You are here with me first before the debriefing. In fact, it pertains to the debriefing.
Another Ranger team.
Well, the Supersonic Rangers, to be precise. Professor Daxian then brings up on the data board. You are all familiar with the Supersonic Rangers, of course.
one in particular.
Yeah.
Yes, I understand it is a sore subject for you, Scott. Please, don't. For your questions, I ask you just let me explain.
Mm-hmm.
You see the Supersonic Rangers come up in front of you guys. The board is there. You see the red, pink, yellow, blue, and black Rangers. And, of course, the Green Ranger. As you know, Ace, Brute, Gent, Star, and Pyre, along with Trek, made up the team of the Supersonic Rangers. As you know, everyone bar Trek is KIA. However, when we thought the morphers were destroyed, it turns out they were not. Trek made away with them. We know
That's
this.
not
We know this because we believe the information that has been funneled to the General has been coming directly from Trek himself.
Scott's eyes widen.
Now, as to why you were targeted, Scott, there is something that the commander told me that you need to know. As a member of SPD, you are aware that some individuals go through enhancements, as it were.
Yeah.
You are a special case. You share something that no other SPD operative does with Trek. There is a reason.
Why do I not like where this is going at all?
Well, sorry, I did the roll. This is something that we discussed a while back.
Oh, no, that was in character.
Yeah. You were augmented when you joined SPD. You volunteered for the procedure.
Yeah.
What Commander Kruger did not tell you is that the procedure also curtailed some of the DNA from the Supersonic Rangers. You, in particular, shared DNA with Trek. It's what I believe guided you to, or guided the morphing grid to give you the powers of the Green Ranger. You are not a clone by any standard. You just inhibit a similar biosignature as the former Green Supersonic Ranger.
So
So
in
the
many
looks are not just coincidental then.
No.
So in many ways-
what? He's like my science bro or something?
In a manner of speaking, you would be you could be considered half brothers if by any normal medical professional. But also, your powers of empathy since the procedure were heightened, were they not?
Well, that explains the headaches.
Yes. In an attempt to heighten your inherent Cybrian abilities, you were given Trek's DNA because you yourself were an empath. It's also how you're able to... It's why you are so efficient in melee combat. Your ability to perceive things before they even happen. It's almost like you have future sight without having the Cybrian ability of being a seer. Forgive me, but scientifically it is amazing. However, I understand the implications. We think Trek was trying to abduct you so he could siphon your grid energy.
I just had a weird thought. I don't know if this is going to be relevant, Professor, but I mean, if we know Scott, then can we track Trek?
He closes down like the windows for the Supersonic Rangers, leaves Trek to the side, and pulls up your specs, Scott. You see what you see on there is like a constant wave going, and right alongside it, there's like just one that's going like kind of like concurrent around it is like a green where it said, "This, Scott, is your biosignature." And the green indicates your connection to the morphing grid. This is the connection that we have from Trek. And he brings up, and it's an identical wave.
Mm-hmm.
That. For all intensive purposes, it could be possible to track you. However, it would be possible to track Trek using a similar way of tracking Scott. However, we've already tried that. And it only picks up Scott.
So what are we missing then?
We're not sure, but Trek has somehow found a way to mask not only his biosignature, but his own morphing grid energies. It may have something to do with Dark Spectre as a whole, but... Well, take a look at this. So at this point, then, he pulls up a recording, and you see the image of a rather vicious-looking character. Like, he's wearing, like, black and green armor. It looks like Ranger armor, almost. Just more sinister looking. More evil looking. And it's just constant clips of the of this individual taking out armed forces members and everything, laughing, and
I caught that. You almost let it slip.
yeah, I know. All of that. We're not 100% sure, but this last frame, you see the telltale effect of a power down, and you see a guy in a long black trench coat turn around, turn almost side on. There's green hair and everything. We believe that this is Trek, and we also believe, like I said, he was the one funneling information. But more will be said at the debrief, Rangers. But Commander Kruger thought it best you hear it from me first, Scott, to give you time to process, as it were. He had not intended to hide that detail from you. But at the current time, given the climate of the war, he thought it best.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's fine. It's fine. Sorry, that's a lot to take in. So, just let's just carry on, okay? Let's just move forward with what we have and go from there.
Yes. Okay. If you don't have any other questions, Rangers, we should head to the debrief as soon as possible.
Scott, will you be susceptible to Noah's saying something in your head?
I probably wouldn't fight it, and I'm an empath, so I'm like Consular Troy, so.
You would just hear, he's not you. Don't compare yourself to him.
I just say back to him, no, that's already what everybody else does.
And don't let them. You're better than that. Again, I don't think you don't hear, no one else hears this, but it's just for Scott.
Yeah, no, you use your innate KO35 telepathic abilities.
Yep.
So Scott, you would have felt Nova doing that and gave him access anyway, because again, being an empath and your heightened ability, it's like you can feel when Nova's using his power, but you can also
like I felt the ring of the doorbell, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, but with that information, Scott, you now understand why some members of the military gave you a wide berth, but not like the lower down guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything starts to make a little bit more sense. But yeah, so Professor Daxian kind of like nods and said, "Rangers, if there's no other questions, I believe we should probably head to the debriefing."
Yeah, let's do that. I think we've had enough shock and awe for today.
Yes.
Sadly, I think that's actually about to get started even worse with this debriefing. I don't know why.
It's
I make let everybody else go ahead of me, and before I exit the room, I just kick a chair as hard as I can.
Yep, that's fair. As that happens, get the chair. As you leave the room, like Pungus kind of like comes into frame. Picks the chair up and like puts it back, and then for some reason starts bleeding. As he's being followed by the rest of the researchers.
Oh God, I'm gonna start calling him Pungsuela.
We transition now to you guys up in the debriefing room. You are joined by, of course, Commander Kruger, the Zybrian Admiral, and the Wildcards. Those are the only people here. As you get in, Kruger says for everyone to take a seat, and he takes his place at the top, at the front of the in the room, and then I no doubt assume you have questions, and I am ready to answer them. However, let me just rephrase what you've already been told by Professor Daxian and expand on it. When you joined SPD, you volunteered for the augmentation process. It was my first insistence that you, Scott, be a member of the Wildcards. So at this point, the Wildcards kind of look over at you and then back to Kruger, and Smoke's just like, well, that would make more sense as to why we were also given the same augmented procedures. Though I'm not 100% sure why that has any reference to this debrief, Commander. Well, it is... Kruger kind of like lets out that low grumbled sigh. But as you were no doubt told, your augment included a DNA splice of sorts. You were fused with the DNA of former supersonic Green Ranger Trek. So at that point, the Wildcards kind of look at you, Scott, and then back to Kruger, just like, and Smokes just kind of like stands up and like he looks pissed.
I make it a point not to make eye contact with anybody.
Yeah, that's fair. And he kind of just like Smokes just looks up and says, "DNA splice, Commander. That the scientific ramifications alone, but it's inhuman." So that point,
easy, down.
The Admiral kind of just says, like that, "At ease, soldier. There is a good reason. If it was a he doesn't, like he stands down, like Comms is like got his hand on his shoulder, and again Smoke is just like, he's literally just like, like incredulously, going like, "A soldier I may be, but I was also a researcher. I would not have volunteered for for this augmentation procedure myself had I known you were dabbling in such."
I put my hand out towards him, just say, "Hey, let the commander explain why they put a psychopath's DNA in me, okay?"
He kind of just sighs. He sits back down, but like you can see now, he's like looking at the commander and everyone else, just like, there better be a good reason for this. And then, of course, Kruger, he sighs out, said, "Yes, the augmentation process did include DNA splicing, but it also included far more things. Enhanced strength." And he kind of looks at Wrecker, not Wrecker. I knew I was gonna make that mistake sooner or later. He looks at yeah. He looks at Blast. Enhanced strength, and Blast kind of goes, yeah. Enhanced scientific processing, and he looks at comms for that. The comms kind of just goes, yeah. Enhanced like that. Also, and well, not just comms, but he also looks at smoke. But he also says to smoke, enhanced sight and perception, and of course, enhanced athletics ability. Referring, and in that he was referring athletics ability. Sorry,
Athletic.
Thank you. Like, and says he's first the blackout, and then of course a jack of all trades, and then he looks at edge sight. But each of these came with the caveat of DNA splicing. First, I was against it, but then the Admiral made a good case. To this point, the Admiral stands up. As you know, the supersonic Rangers were betrayed by Trek. I'd had the pleasure of working with Ace and his team. They were a fine team of Rangers, and they protected Zybria for a very long time. It was my hope that splicing their DNA with volunteers would somehow be able to reactivate the powers of the supersonic Rangers. This, however, did not come to pass. And although immoral, it did give Commander Kruger a strike team that he could use, and of course, Zybria a chance to contribute to the Cyberstrike protocol. I do not ask your forgiveness.
Good.
But I only wish for you to understand as to why we did what we did. Before we completed this Cyberstrike protocol, we were on the back foot of this war. We needed another Ranger team. It's now my mistake seems to have come back to haunt us.
It's often in the quote unquote just actions that we make our biggest ones.
The road to hell is often paved with good intentions.
You know, Commander, it seemed kind of funny to me that apparently a lot of people knew this information before I got to.
Only the most trusted individuals that worked on the augmentation process were the ones to know.
That wouldn't have happened to have included the General, would it?
Unfortunately, yes.
That would have explained the hostility.
Not only that, the General had too worked closely with the Supersonic Rangers, Trek in particular.
And that would explain why he was getting, why that, or what we were told by the professor, that he was getting his information directly from Trek.
That is a recent development. We've only just found out that it could be Trek in person, personally, that was feeding the General this information. Along with the information that we were able to get from the interrogation, we've got this. 2 black sites in control of Dark Spectre's forces. It's at this point a hologram comes up in front of you all. These are in deep territory, enemy territory. It will not be easy to get to them, but we believe that both sites hold valuable information, and one of them could potentially house Trek himself if he's operating out of these areas. I am already tasking the wildcards to take one. Professor Daxian, I would like you and your team to take another.
Without question.
I can hear someone's mic. Professor Daxian kind of looks at Commander Kruger, kind of stands up, and once Deluna, I can hear you, Mike. Someone's
Yeah,
echoing on
Deluna,
mic.
if you're talking on purpose, it's not coming through properly.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
There he is.
Sorry, like,
Yeah, your mic went funny then. Were you trying to contribute there, or?
no, my Facebook autoplayed something. I was trying to stop
Gotcha.
it.
Okay.
Okay, continue.
Yeah, Professor Daxian kind of stands up, and once more you see him take on like this stern look, and he stands that little bit taller. The only other time you've seen him do this was when Dex was in trouble. And he kind of goes, Commander Kruger, above many things, I'm a researcher and mentor to the Cyberstrike Rangers. I realized Dwayne and Scott were under your command for a long time. However, I must echo Smoke's concerns. I had not said anything now, but I wanted to say it when everyone was here. If you're still processing these augmented upgrades, I wish for you to stop. Otherwise, I will pull myself and the Cyberstrike Rangers from your command, hence immediately. If you are doing this to people voluntarily, even if they volunteer or not, what does it make us any better than Dark Spectre's forces? I've seen firsthand the horrors experiments can do. Bracon bombarded Edenoi for years. Mutated our people. I cannot in good conscience serve under someone who does the same. So at that point, you kind of see like Kruger kind of almost, it's almost like they're both squaring off against each other. And as
Nova,
yeah, go ahead.
like while this is happening, Nova chimes in. I'm inclined to agree with the professor here, Commander. Stuff like that is just, there's too many variables at play, and this is coming from a civilian.
Dwayne stands and be like, I'm going to be more on the commando on this. I'm SPD as well as a ranger. I understand, but there's also Desperate times call for desperate measures. Sometimes you need the unorthodox method to solve a problem.
Fair. Same time, though.
Now, as long as it hasn't been done to anyone else, we actually now have 4 potential recruits who can become rangers, like Scott.
That Daxian goes like that. Anyone can become a ranger. The method in which you employed was theoretically on paper sound. But whatever Trek did to the supersonic powers rendered them null and void. You should not have gone behind our backs. Especially since I was the lead researcher on the Cyberstrike project. At this point, the wildcards kind of stand up. We're just like, and then they go. Comms is kind of like, I don't speak for the rest of the team, but what's done is done, and we've been able to pull off some pretty extraordinary things. Not like that, and we don't even have the power to transform into Power Rangers. All I know is that if Trek is the one behind this, he's the one that got rid of Blackout. So for his sake, I'm in on this mission. The rest of the wildcards stand up, and it's kind of like in a solidarity thing. But then Smoke also goes, but I also echo the concerns of the professor. Commander, you cannot allow these experiments to continue. Now, I myself have aided in other augmentations that are perfectly sound. Cybernetic implants. Strengthening the immune system, all that. But trying to splice DNA can lead to some horrible, horrible things. You have to stop this research immediately. At this point, the Admiral says, the research was stopped several years ago. We felt it was no longer needed after the failure to reactivate the supersonic powers. It was after that, well, the final piece of this puzzle may come into light.
Which is?
We salvaged the morphers of the supersonic rangers from the incident site. We also believe Trek was the one that stole them several years ago. If our theory is correct, then Trek may have been trying to kidnap Scott to drain his morphing grid energy to reactivate those powers and then corrupt them the same way he has been corrupted. And it's at this point another photo gets pulled up, and this is a photo not even Professor Daxian has seen, and in front of you guys stands the figure, far cleaner than usual, of an individual in that same black suit and armor, but he's also green. You see like the green aspect of it. It's like, it's hard to explain. It kind of looks like a bat almost. The face, like the motif of it, like the face motif, and like big like shoulder armor and whatnot. And you see it there. It's like, we believe this is what has become of Trek. An agent of Dark Spectre. An evil Power Ranger.
above game, he says that how much, since we said this canonically would have taken place around MMPR Season 3 based on the comics, what do we know about, like, Lord Drakon and, like, that whole situation?
You don't know about Lord Drakon, Tommy Oliver, but you do know about Lord Drakon, the intergalactic overlord that was attacking Edenoi for a very long time. Who was the main antagonist of the Masked Rider show. That's the Drakon I'm referring to. This guy, in my universe, Trek was never sent towards Earth. In this universe. He was never sent on a mission. He was never buried on the moon. Yada, yada, yada. He's been an agent of Dark Spectre since his betrayal.
I suppose to rephrase, would we know the, I guess we'll call it the lore of the Green Ranger of Earth?
You wouldn't know the lore of the Green Ranger of Earth. You would know that they're...
I think what he meant was what Orico told us.
Yeah. You would, yeah. You know from what Orico told you that Earth had a Green Ranger who is now the White Ranger.
But we wouldn't specifically know that he was evil at one point.
Read a repulsive spell. You did mention that bit.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did mention read repulsive spell.
Okay, so back in game, when they say that, Marika will pipe up at this point. So it's the Green Ranger of Earth all over again, it seems.
Not worse.
So here's two options that I'm thinking of as to why Trek would want Scott. Either his power's draining and he needs a recharge, or if he's got the morphers, he's going to make more.
Here's something that I just thought of when you said that.
And I think the wild cards, along with Scott, might just have been that. We just saved your asses from becoming evil Rangers.
Here's something that I just thought of then. What if he's trying to get his powers back? So he can use them to make the whatever that is. He points at the picture or the screen. Even more powerful.
Combining these new powers given to him by Dark Spectre with the original supersonic green powers.
Access to the grid is the main thing that Spectre's wanting, if I'm not mistaken.
Daxian nods. Yes, from reports from spies that we've sent, and they've been able to give back whatever small data is. It is vastly assumed that Dark Spectre wishes access to the morphing grid, and this was also confirmed by Zordon of Eltar.
That can't happen. The morphing grid is our only advantage against Spectre at the moment.
Wait. Professor, you said that mineral we've found acted like the morphing grid.
Yes.
Are you saying he's maybe trying to use the mineral to charge his powers?
And make more.
If that is the case, then we have more of a stake in this than we thought.
Not only that, but there was something that Orko mentioned that really scared me. Remember him mentioning the Zeo crystal?
Yes.
They get their hands on that. That is basically a near infinite amount of power they could use on their side. Like, yes, like according to the legend that Orgo said that you had to be a good person to get it. But imagine if they were able to control someone who was good to get it for them, and just hand it to them.
At this point, Scott stands up and places his hands like firmly on the table. We can speculate this until the end of the universe, and none of it's going to matter if we don't do something about it. So let's go.
Professor Daxian kind of nods his head. Yes, I agree with Scott. Speculation of anything of as like that. Plus, the Zeo crystal is as far from Dark Spectre as it was. In fact, I believe it is located on the moon currently, where Lord Zed makes his home. And he's not been able to get his hands on it from the reports. If he did, then this would be a very different war we'd be fighting. We are to attack these two zones, and the Rangers and I will take this one. And he points to the one that is closer, which it's the closest one, but it's also the one that is in the more heavily defended part. If I've read the reports correctly, Trek was a smart individual. No offense to the Wildcards, Commander, but my team would be the only ones that would be able to stand up against another Ranger, evil or not. No offense, of course. The Blast just kind of shrugs and goes, none taken. Commander Kruger then kind of nods his head. He's still he's in full commander mode here. As does the Admiral, and said, very well. You have free reign to proceed as much as you wish. So too do you, Smoke. I'm appointing you new leader of the Wildcards. And it's at that point, he kind of looks around at everyone and just says, I know your feelings are conflicted. And I do not regret my decisions. I did what was best for the universe. And I still believe that. Good luck to you, Rangers. And you. Dismissed.
Before everybody leaves, Marika is going to... Was that the Admiral or...
that was Kruger.
Kruger said that Marika is going to look at Kruger and she says... It's only human nature to want to separate our past and present. But as far as I've known you, despite this new information, I think you've still done more than enough to outweigh the bad.
I've got a battle strategy, but I'll wait to see if everyone wants to listen to it or not.
And then she'll follow up with, keep doing good things. Eventually the negativity will fade away. It'll still be there, it'll still be a part of you, but you'll be able to know in comfort that you're better than you were.
Kruger kind of nods at you, Marika, and then just before Professor Daxian starts to walk out, Kruger looks at you, Scott, and he kind of locks eyes with you, and he genuinely does say, "You are not him, Scott. I do not expect you to forgive the decisions. I have made mistakes in the course of this war. If it would bring you peace, we can hash this out when you get back. Till then, please, stay safe."
Salutes him, sir, and walks out.
You kind of look at the Wildcards. They mumble and just say they're just like, "Did Kruger just say if Styx wants to fight him, they can fight when they get back?" I don't know, he's got that sword in his office. And the Wildcards themselves kind of walk out of the room as well.
Hey, wild cards. Before you go,
And they stop and they turn.
you've got 4, we've got 6. You want to split up the teams 50-50? So we've got 5 each?
They kind of laugh and look at each other, and then Edgeside kind of goes, "Look, no offense, but I don't think you guys could keep up." And they kind of all like wave off, and then they exit down, and they kind of like go down one of the down the elevator before you guys.
Said it was Smoke that was appointed the new leader, right?
Yeah.
Before they leave, Marika is going to kind of call out Smoke.
He turns and raises an eyebrow at you.
From one leader to another, kind of looks at the rest of the wild cards. Watch after him.
He kind of like grins, smells like that. Only logical. And the elevator that they go in, kind of that you didn't really know was there. Kind of you know, like again, it's like a secret elevator. They go in it, like it closes, and then they disappear, and you guys go down the normal one, and make your way back toward the Gamma. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where we will finish our session for this week.
Yay!
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh boy!
Yeah, if you didn't realize what was going on, this is the Scott's backstory arc.
Hey.
Yeah. Myself and Scott had I asked him what doing the whole spring cleaning and change when Across the Stars came out.
Yeah.
Scott really wanted the augmented not perk origin or influence or whatever. And I was like, okay, yeah, cool. What do you want? And he was just like, I don't know, this like that. And he said an off comment like, "Oh, I'll be Trek's clone or something." And I laughed at it, but then my brain went into overdrive, and I came up with 6 or 7 plots to explain.
It's like I
also
know how my
because-
friend thinks or something.
Yeah,
Was it also because of what I said of him resembling Trek?
yeah, part of it. As soon as
It did seem to kind of fall together organically though.
yeah, it really didn't. I was like, oh, I can play with this so much. So
And I told him to. I told them, surprise me.
Yeah.
Like,
He said somebody, so
I just want it. I thought it would be, a cool thing. And as far as the details, no, it's better off that I don't know.
yeah. So you could have like the clone, that was an option. Biological brother was an option. It's just Scott wouldn't have known. It would have been kept secret from him.
Totally Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
You don't know what happened to your brother.
Yeah.
I know enough. I know that you killed
Killed
him.
him.
No, I am your brother.
That would have been funny. Yeah, but there's been I had so many other ideas, and some of those ideas I came up with. I was like, well, yeah, it's for Scott's character, but it doesn't 100% match. So I kind of whittled it down to the last 3 or 4, and I was like, okay, cool, yeah. But the whole DNA splice thing, I was kind of like, this kind of makes sense because then I can also draw on the lore of the Supersonic Rangers, and because in the comic books they died, that's it. And I was like, well, did they ever try
That's
and have
boring.
I was like, yeah. I was like, did they ever did Planet the Cyber ever try to reactivate the powers? Did they recover them? Did they do this? I was just like, I said, because even though it was a trap, Trek was not that strong as a supersonic ranger to utterly annihilate powers given by the morphing grid. It just didn't make sense to me. So I was like,
No,
well,
from what I remember, sorry.
Yeah.
From what I remember about Trek's backstory is that the reason that he turned on the team in general was because he was overlooked in terms of.
Yeah.
I think Red had the ability to flawlessly plan stuff to where
Yeah,
he didn't.
He was a
need
seer.
all the,
Red was a seer. Ace was a seer, and Trek was an empath. On Zybria, empaths are considered. Being an empath is considered the lowest skill because it's just like, oh, you know how someone's feeling. Whoop-de-doo.
Well, he didn't see that coming.
But Trek was able to subvert it because he was smart and cunning. So that was that. But then of course, then it led me down the thing. I was just like, well, considering the setting of my game in the universe that we're in, I was like, yeah, no, the Cybrians probably would have. But then, they probably were like just before the Cyberstrike protocol pulled in all the planets, they wouldn't have known the inner workings of the morphing grid. They had never specialized in it. So they just went with conventionary means. They're just like, maybe we can trick the morphers into thinking, hey, this is Ace, he's not dead, or blah, 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 blah. Because again, the morphing grid chooses its heroes. So that was my thought process behind it. So yeah, that's that. Again, I do apologize for the scuffs at the start, and of course, that was first proper Zord combat. I think we've pretty much come up with a way to iron it out now, which is great. I am still having PC issues, it looks like. I'm gonna look for someone to raid. While I do that,
I have Mega GM, Sean, and a Rabbit.
Yeah, I also have my friend Falcon from my Final Fantasy 14. FC. I could probably go into probably Mecha because I did Sean the other week. So yeah, we'll raid Mecha GM. But before that, I will say thank you very much for watching episode 21. I'm probably gonna. I think I've just figured out the title for this episode, but I'll do that off camera.
Is it Queen Dark Lady's suggestion, Pungus and Me?
No, that did make me giggle. Oh yeah. Also, I'd been planning the Pungus thing for a while because I was just like, I'm doing this. I don't care. I want my Balkan skull. I want my little. I want my funnies. Because I don't want this to be.
I have something I want to throw out, but I want to throw out after it so that it's not spoiled.
Wait. So am I skull to the bulk?
I mean, we'll see how it goes. But yeah. So first and foremost, thank you very much for tuning into episode 21. Choco, who are you? Where can they find you?
Hello, I'm Choco. You can find me on Twitter at ChocoZombie101. You can find me here on Tuesdays playing Marika and Power Rangers Cyberstrike. And later tonight on Tuesdays, you can find me and Deluna over on twitch.tv/Draco Magnus for our Rallyhoon de Revalia. I think I pronounced that right. A third party basically a third-party D&D 5e campaign where we're in a carnival, currently going through a very, very interesting inn. Are you done with your game? But yeah, you can catch the two of us over there later at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time every Tuesday, barring any interruptions or issues.
Ooh, Cryptic, who are you? Where can they find you?
I am Cryptic Sergeant. You can find me Saturday nights at 8 o'clock streaming World Domination Wrestling. We started an hour. We started half an hour earlier last week because I had because we had a runtime of 3 hours with a 30-minute tag match between Apex Latex and oh boy.
The fun of being a showrunner. Awesome, yeah. So that's what you done? Or kind of cut out there?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Deluna, who are you? Where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at DLuna1338. You can find me on Twitch at Deluna13, YouTube as well. Close to being able to get my computer back. Give me a couple more weeks. Hopefully by at least by my birthday. I already decided what I want to do for my first stream back. I've been on a bit of a FNAF kick recently, so I'm like, you know what? But the new movie's coming out in October. Let's play the original games.
Oh, Cool.
So that's gonna be what I'm gonna do on my way on my time back, as well as the we're gonna be going back to the Medilock. Like Drake or like Choco said, tonight you'll find me at around around 4 hours from now for the or for the other D&D session on Drago Mania's channel.
Cool.
That's it for me.
Awesome. Scott, who are you? Where can I find you?
I am Mr. Hardluck. You can find me at twitch.tv/Mr. Hardluck, particularly on Tuesday nights, including tonight at about 7 o'clock Eastern Time for Yeet Elite Wrestling, the finest shitpost wrestling in the entire multiverse. You can also find me on Facebook and YouTube if you just search for my wrestling alter ego, Scott E. Stevens. That's Stevens with a PH in the middle. I am the classiest man in the multiverse, and I wrestle poorly. You should check me out.
You don't wrestle poorly. Rosso, who are you and where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at RosoRyu. That is ROSOHRYU. You can find me on YouTube at ROSOH. I do intros for M&W Warzone and Warzone specific sort of events. I play as Arsoy, the Undisputed Future, on M&W Warzone on Dr. Caliban's Twitch channel. And I also play as Debug on Cryptic Cygen's WDW show, where my character is one half of the women's tag team champions, along with Choco's character.
Fantastic. Tom, who are you? Where can they find you?
Hi, I'm Tom. You can find me here on Tuesdays. Make sure you follow if you haven't, and hey, if you got a Prime, drop it.
Tom also is a fantastic artist. He's done a lot of the art for this, as has Rosso. And of course, I am your game master, Twitch the Person. You can find me here every Tuesday for Power Rangers Cyberstrike and any other day of the week when I am streaming. Of course, I haven't been streaming a lot lately due to reasons that happened last week and me getting ill.
Boo.
Yeah, it sucks. Thank you once again for tuning in. Thank you for the people who resubscribed. Thank you for the follows. Again, apologies for the scuff. As usual, you can find the entire playlist of Power Rangers Cyberstrike on my YouTube channel. It's right there in the chat. I haven't put it down below yet because I keep forgetting to. You can find the link to my Discord down there as well. We talk about, well, I say we talk. Not much happens there. There's a lot of people in there, but it's no talking. For any update on Power Rangers Cyberstrike and or when I'm streaming next. You can also find me on Twitter at Twitch the Person. Yeah, that's about it. So once again, thank you very much for tuning in. And we will see you all next week for the next episode of Power Rangers Cyberstrike, where I'm sure we're going to have a fun time.
Until next time, may the power protect you.
May the
And
power
hail
protect
pigeon.
you. If you can't be kind, shut the fuck up.
Hail pigeon.
Hail pigeon.
Also, hail pigeon.
Hail pigeon.
Help pigeon.
We'll put the pigeon.
Hail pungus.
We do not hail pungus.
Hell,
But yeah, we're gonna raid Mecha GM. So thank you very much. Like I said, thanks for tuning in. I'll do my outro correctly because I just skipped over half of it.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I know. Thanks for tuning in. Stay safe, be kind, and if you can't be kind, shut the fuck up. There we go. That felt better. We will see you next time.
Hail pigeon.
Help pigeon.
I'm gonna have to put some music to that or something.